Grambling State. Southern ends its regular season with a record of 8-4 overall and 7-2 in the league. Grambling ends its season 1-4 overall and 0-8 in the SWAC. More championship information now for the 2013 Toyota SWAC Football Championship. The football press conference will be held this Friday at 10 a.m. in the West Club in Reliant Stadium. That will feature Jackson State head coach Rick Comegy, and Southern head football coach Dawson Odums, which will be again in the West Club Reliance Stadium. That's the official football championship press conference this Friday at 10 a.m. Here's a look at the final standings for the football coaches, or actually for the football regular season. They go as follows. Jackson State finished the season overall number one, of course, in the East. An overall record of 8-3, and they're 8-1 in the conference. Alabama State finished second. They're 8-4 overall, 7-2 in conference play. Alcorn State finished third at 9-3 and 7-2 overall. Alabama A&M finished fourth. They were 4-8 overall and 4-5 in conference play. Mississippi Valley State rounded out the East at 2-9 overall and 2-7 in the SWAC. Southern University, the Western Division champions, finished 8-4 overall and 7-2 in conference play. Prairie View A&M finished 6-6 overall, second, and 5-4 in the conference. Texas Southern finished third at 2-9 and 2-7 in conference play. Arkansas Pine Bluff with the exact same record finished fourth, and Grambling State rounded out conference play in the West. They were 1-11 overall and 1-8 in league play. The SWAC awarded Jackson State a conference win after the Grambling State forfeit. That game is not reflected in the conference standings. And now we'll get our coaches' teleconference underway featuring Jackson State and Southern University. Our first coach on the call is Jackson State head coach Rick Comegy. Good morning, Coach Comegy. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us this morning. If you could, a couple of weeks here with the layoff, but the week is officially here, and if you could talk about some of the things that you guys got going on and preview the championship, if you will.
Well, we've been, practicing, trying to, stay sharp. Sometimes when you have a long layoff, you tend to get rusty and you lose some of that edge and sharpness. And so, we've just been constantly going a little bit every day. A lot of it has been just technique work and going out of half pads or no pads at all. Just to run and catch and try to, just to stay sharp. Running the base things that we run and just trying to, keep our defense, doing our check system, reviewing the review from when you came into camp so that, you don't make a lot of mistakes. And so, we're trying to get mistake-free, which we know is possibly, impossible to do, but we're trying to work as close to it as possible. And so that's where we've been. We've been out almost every day. We've been out over the weekend. We've been out Saturdays and Sundays. We just going out for a little while watching film and, and just trying to get a look at the opponent, just trying to stay sharp.
Thank you very much, Coach Comegy. The floor is now open for Jackson State head football coach Rick Comegy. Please take your phone off of mute by using the command *6.
Yeah, Coach Comegy, this is Roscoe Nance. How you doing?
Hey, Roscoe, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Congratulations on getting back to the championship game.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Roscoe.
This is a rematch, from an earlier game earlier in the season. How different do you think the two teams are at this point than they were when they played back in September?
Well, I believe that Southern is has gotten much sharper and much keener in what they do, and some of the things that they came into our game with. I think they're a better football team at this point. I think they've moved on in progression. Both offense and defensively, and we have our hands full. We have to play a solid football game. Even though I felt in the first game, we dodged the bullet in the first game. They had a guy wide open in the end zone, and the quarterback came up short on a throw. That's not going to happen often. With that team now, I think they're playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of grit, and we're going to have to try to stalemate them and try to stay in this ball game.
And what about Jackson State?
I think we're a hungry football team. I think we maintain our hungriness and our desire to want to win a championship. I think hopefully that we'll play up to the level of our desire, and and I'm looking for a great game.
Well, how different is Jackson State than it was in that game?
Well, I think we found an identity. We found what we want to do. We were kind of scrambling around a little bit, looking for an identity. From an offensive standpoint of view, I think we discovered what we do best, and we're going to try to play off of that. With other things now, and then from a defensive standpoint of view, I think we've settled in and stopped doing a lot of things that we were doing, so the kids can play fast and let them play instead of trying to dictate everything going on. Let them make the some of the adjustments that they need to make, and stop making so many calls so that we're too many things going on and they can't get into their check system, and we'll just make a check and let them play out of that check and go from there.
Are you guys looking at this as a chance for redemption for letting the one get away last year, or have you moved on from that?
I really, to be honest, Russell, I haven't even thought about last year's game. I just basically, or the game this year, just to get one up in front of you. It's the most important one right now to me, and some of the things that in the past I can't do anything about. I'm just trying to be the best we can possibly be.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Roscoe.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about the first game and y'all's offensive philosophy? I think y'all had nearly 50 rushing attempts in that game, and y'all really came out in the second half and really established it early on and really, ran it down. And just started running the ball a lot there earlier in the third quarter. Can you talk about why y'all went with that strategy and what you saw on tape going into that game, and has Southern improved in the rush defensively and how that will affect you going into this game?
There's no doubt they improve tremendously. I mean, they have improved tremendously, and not just in the rush, but in what they're doing in the passing game. And so they're playing good, solid defense. We just have to do what we think is best for our team and what we think we can do. We have a couple of running backs that we feel that can run, and if our quarterback doesn't has a good game, depending on what he does. If he has to have a good game for us to beat him, and I think like most teams do, you got to have your quarterback having a lot of success, not just with his arm, but on the ground as well. And doing the things that people do to try to just keep moving the chains. I don't really care about the long bomb as much as I care about moving the chains and ball control, and and that's what we're asking him to do. And so. Have they gotten better at stopping the run? Yes, they have. I don't think they're going to let us come out there and run the ball like we did. But I think, hopefully we can keep it off balance a little bit between, mixing up the run and the pass a little bit more than we did last game.
Coach, last time y'all met, I think Jackson State came into the game third overall in the pass defense. Y'all giving up some yards in recent weeks. How do you think your defensive secondary will face against a Southern wide receiver attack that has had a couple guys step up alongside Lee Dawson in the recent weeks, and with Clark Cox back there for you?
Well, I tell you what, you're right about a couple guys stepping up. They have really stepped up and done a fantastic job in that passing game. And he's probably one of the better quarterbacks that I've seen in a long, long time. And the guy's very accurate and knows what he wants to do. He's comfortable in the offense, and they're going to be hard to control. We just have to make sure that we're not just giving them the looks that they can get in there and pick at, and and have an easy time picking at it, and trying to see how we can keep him off guard a little bit, by making some changes back there and moving around a little bit, and hopefully trying to get to him a little bit more.
Hey, Coach, this is Roz from the Clarion Ledger. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ask you, after this point of the season, some teams tend to pick up on the tendencies of other teams. We saw that against Alabama A&M when you try to rush into the red zone. How are you trying to make sure that Southern can kind of pick up on your tendencies, but try to make sure that you guys still execute on what your game plan is?
Well, it's hard not to. Most teams, look at tendencies and try to go by tendencies and things of that nature. And I think sometimes tendencies do work, but you got to go with what got you here and what you do best sometimes, and not worry too much about tendencies. It is man on man and team on team, and sometimes you start worrying about getting away from some of the things that you do because of high tendencies, and you don't have success. But I think we have to take some of those things and take those tendencies and turn them to opposites. Meaning, if it's a run tendency, you throw, and if it's a bad tendency, you run, and use it that way. But you got to keep doing what you do best.
2 weeks off, one more week left to go. You hadn't had a game in about 2 weekends, but how do you kind of keep the guys motivated and competitive throughout that time?
Well, I don't think it's been very difficult. We got we got our butts handed to us in the Alcorn game. And that might have been the greatest thing in the world that happened for this team. You can't. We had a lot of desire, a lot of dreams, a lot of things that we were trying to accomplish in the season. And we didn't accomplish it, but there's a lot more to still accomplish. And so, we have to man up and accept that beating and come back and understand that each game is a fight. You can't just go out there and show up. You got to go out there and play, and so you can turn a negative into a positive real quick, and I think that's what we've done.
Coach, can you talk about Zach Pendleton for a minute? 20 yards per catch and leading his SWAC in yards per game. Can you just talk about what having a deep threat like that brings to an offense and how it opens up the entire field?
Well, Zach Pendleton's an outstanding athlete. He's getting double covered a lot now, and a lot of people are, looking his way and open up some other receivers for us, which is okay. Because our quarterback is starting to spread the football around a little bit more than he has, and we like that because we got a couple other guys that, can get up and get things going, without, if they're double covering Zach. But he's just an extraordinary receiver. He's got a big, big, tall body, 6'3", 6'4". He can run. He can move a little bit. Got great hands, and so we do bank on him for some big catches, and he has made some big catches for us. And we're happy that he's healthy and ready to go, and hopefully he'll make a few big catches for us in this game, and help us in certain situations that we really need him. And hopefully now the other guys get an opportunity to show their wares, as well as they're like as some of the guys on the Southern team have now showed their wares, showing that they can play ball too, along with Dawson, and open up our offense a little bit more rather than Zachary.
Mm-hmm. Coach, you have a lot of wide receivers. Zach Pendleton obviously has been the most reliable, but who do you think has stepped up on the other end for the wide receivers to help out Pendleton?
I think Perkins has stepped up real well, and I think Singleton is finally coming into his own, and I'm really happy with that. And McKenzie made some big catches for us the game before, so those guys are really starting to come through now and make those catches that we've been hoping they could do. And Tucker, he's waiting. I'm waiting for a breakout day from Tucker too. So, and young man by the name of Fossum, and they all have been working hard. They just haven't been getting a lot of. They've been open, and we just got to get the ball to them and spread the wealth around a little bit more.
Coach, I remember talking to you last time. You didn't put much into it, but into the Southern Jackson State rivalry, you acknowledge that it is a rivalry, but you said it's another game. How excited do you think your team is heading into a game, knowing that it is, knowing the championship game, knowing that they are facing Southern? A big time rivalry here in the SWAC.
Could you say that again, please? I'm sorry.
How excited is your team going to play Southern University in the SWAC title game, given the historical significance of the rivalry?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're super excited. We're super excited about the game. I mean, this is a big ball game for us. We know that it's already listed as a ton of people going to be at the game. When that in itself says that people know that these two teams have historically been two of the top teams in the SWAC. Along with Grambling, of course, and a few other teams who stepped up in there. But it's a big game. It's no doubt a big game. It's a big game for Jackson State. I'm sure it's a big game for Coach and his team. And so, we want to win. I'm sure there's no sense in not putting holding our tongue. I mean, I'm sure that's what it's all about. Try to go in there and have success and then send these seniors out on a great note. That's what that's what we're trying to do.
Coach, you got Aaron McCree has really stepped up for you on the defensive end as a linebacker. Talk about the kind of energy that he brings to you guys every single day and what you expect to see from him in the championship game.
Well, he's all over the field. He's a guy that loves to play, and he's all over the field. And we were talking about him this morning coming in the locker room after practice. We were talking about Aaron McCree and what he brings to the team. He brings a lot of energy, and he's fearless. He goes out and plays the game, and I think he sparks the other guys into playing. I think he's a spark for us and what he wants to do, and how he plays the game. And he's rough, tough, and he's got great speed, and so he'll cover a lot of field, and so he's a guy that's been an asset for us, and I'm glad he's on our team.
We've been looking back at the first game.
Jackson State head coach Rick Comegy. Two more questions.
Coach. Hello, Coach.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Looking back at the first game this season and that matchup against Cox and Dawson, were you satisfied with what you did against their wide receiver? And looking now at the emergence of Mike Jones and what Willie Quinn is doing in the midseason, is their passing game and their wide receiver still a major concern?
Is their passing game and their wide receiver a concern?
Their wide receiver is more of a concern with the emergence of Mike Jones and Willie Quinn and what they're doing.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, they're doing a great job. I mean, yeah, I think you take away from the running game, but I think they can, do a lot of good things on the, with their feet too. But yes, there's no doubt. I mean, the young man can throw the football, and those guys are going to get it and doing a fantastic job, for him. And so, they got a receiver corps that is probably one of the finest receiver corps in the country. And so, we know, we got our hands full. Our kids are prepared to play, and but we know they're good, and we respect them. We don't fear anybody, but we respect them to the utmost.
Your thoughts with playing Southern? The two programs met for the first SWAC football championship in '99, and just your thoughts also on playing this championship game and the league's move game to Houston.
I'm just very, very proud to have this opportunity to play in this game, and and the league moved to Houston. I think we all know that after the game, but I think it's a good move. I think it's a good conference move. I really do, and I think the kids are excited about it. It brings on excitement. I think the people are excited about the change of venue because it's a packed house going to be down there. So, and I think it's good for the city of Houston. I think it's good for college football. And so, we're excited. I'm extremely excited. Please don't think that I'm not. We are definitely excited and preparing hard to go and preparing ourselves hard to play a solid football game.
Do we have any more questions for Jackson State head football coach Rick Comegy?
That sounds like what I would double check.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you this Friday, 10 a.m. for the official football championship press conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's Rick Comegy, head football coach at Jackson State University. Next up on the call, we have Southern University head football
Mute on.
Odums. Good morning, Coach Odums. Are you with us?
Mute off.
Coach Odums. All right, please stand by. Let's see if we could track down Coach Dawson Odums. Please hold.
Hello? Hello?
Coach Odums?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Coach. All right, thank you. We've got Coach Dawson Odums now on with us, the head coach at Southern University. Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about your preparations now, it's the week of the SWAC football championships.
Well, it's just like another game week. You just got to, get everybody focused on what you got to get done. We just played in a big football game and, just getting the guys focused on this one and take one day at a time. We'll come in today. We'll have meetings and we'll have practice today and start implementing our game plans for this week.
All right, the floor is now open for Dawson Odums, head coach at Southern University.
Hey, Coach. Have you had a chance to look at the game film from Jackson State recently? And what do you see in that game film? And what do you think that your team can do better heading into this game coming up?
Well, we looked at it. Actually, I came back with the team on Saturday and went right into work. So, there's no time to rest, man. It's a championship, and they had a lot of time to prepare for us. So, we got started on them right away. And what I think we can do, we really didn't play a bad football game against them the first time. At halftime, it's a 7-3 football game. Now they come out in the second half and they ran the football on us, and we didn't really do a very good job of stopping them in that game. So, but I think as the season has gone along, we implemented more things in our defense that could help us against certain personnel groupings, and we feel pretty good about where we are as a football team and what we think we'll be able to do once we play against you guys.
Coach, can you talk about your wide receivers versus Jackson State defensive backs? That's obviously an intriguing matchup given the status of Lee Dawson and Clark Cox on the other side.
Well, yeah, I think we've added some receivers since the first time we played. I think our guys are playing with confidence. I think we have a very good quarterback, and I think we have probably one of the better receiving cores. And I think if you give them a chance to make plays, they're more than capable of making plays. So our job is to just make sure we can protect our quarterback and give him time to throw the football if we go through it. So I really think the team that can control this game in the running game is probably going to have the upper hand. So they handed it to us the first time we played running the football, and they came out in 21 personnel and really pounded us pretty good. So I don't know why you would change, but I think we got to do a better job, and we think we're going to get tested in the passing game, in the running game. But I know if you can stop the run, you got a chance to win football games.
Talk about your running game. Go ahead. Coach, can you talk about your running game and Leonard Tiller and also Kylan Favorite? Both guys are very explosive. We saw what those two guys can do on turf this past weekend against Grambling, and I think I think Tillery had a long gainer against Jackson State in the first matchup. Can you talk about what we expect out of them because they'd be an X factor going into this game?
Well, I just think you got to, protect the football and run hard. Every yard's going to count. You got to fight for every inch in this game. And, I think those guys are pretty good running backs if we can give them some space. I think they're better now, late in the year than they were early in the year. I think the freshmen understand he's settled down. He's got some big play capabilities. And Leonard Tillery, man, he ran the ball really hard the last game we was out, and I can see that every week he's gotten better and better. We're going to need both of those guys, including Darius Coleman, to be playing their best.
Hey, Coach, this is Roz from the Clarion Ledger. You both, Southern and Jackson, lost to Alcorn. If you're able to watch film on Jackson State against Alcorn, did you see kind of some similarities when you guys played Alcorn? And what do you think was the key for Alcorn to defeat both you and Jackson State?
Well, I think it's turnovers. I think if both teams look at that film, they'll probably say they lost a turnover battle. And when you turn the football over, it makes it difficult for you to win football games. So ball security is definitely going to be something that you really preach this weekend, that you work on, because turnovers are usually the difference in big ball games.
Yeah, Coach, this is Roscoe Nance. How you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm fine. What do you think is how different Jackson State is at this point in the season than they were when you guys played back in September?
I don't think they're no different. I think they're the same team. I mean, you don't have to change much when you went pretty much undefeated throughout the conference, and you survived some close games, but that's the sign of a good team. And they lost to Alcorn, but they still, when you watch the film, they are who they are, man. You don't reinvent the wheel. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to line up and we're going to try to do what we do a little bit better in this game. And to me, that's how I think you prepare, man. You can't go out and just start changing stuff. And each week you got to have an identity, know who you are, and that's what you got to hang your hat on.
Coach, can you talk about emotionally the opportunity as a first-year head coach to lead such a program with that history into the championship game?
Man, I haven't even thought about it. I got back here on Saturday after the Bayou Classic, and I went to watching film for a little bit. Then I went home and came back in here on Sunday, man. I think, I'm more of an old school coach, I'm probably just like Coach Comegy, man. He's been doing this a long time, and I respect what he's been able to do everywhere he's been. And, and the only way you get where you are and get these opportunities is through your hard work. And, I think once the season's over, I reflect back on it and say, we did some remarkable things, and we got one more game to close out the year, and we're going to try to make sure we do all we can to win.
Your thoughts on the conference moving, having the game in Reliant Stadium, the NFL Stadium, and in Houston, Texas?
I just think it's great, man. Anytime you can put, an HBCU in towns that are in big cities that are largely populated by African Americans, you got a chance for growth and expansion and excitement to happen, and and that's what kind of city Houston is. It's a great place for SWAC to move the game, and I think it's going to be an electrifying crowd, and we're excited and grateful for representing the West and Southern University being there.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about, did your team have any, big odds going into the first matchup in Reliant Stadium against Houston? And how do you think playing in a game like that, opening the year, knowing the environment, knowing the surroundings, being in Houston twice, along with Texas Southern, do you think that benefits your team at all, having been there, done that so far this year?
I just think you understand your surroundings, but when we were there against Houston, it's not going to be the kind of crowd probably that we're going to anticipate it being playing against Jackson State. And it was the first game of the season, and not as much as that is on the line. So, the good thing is that we've been there before. We played in that stadium. But just remember, we lost when we played there, so that's probably what we remember most. So the thing, getting a chance to go back, that's all our fans talked about from the start of the season was going to Houston 3 times. Well, we granted them that wish now. Now they'll probably show up, as Jaguar Nation do. We'll be a lot of people that are rooting for us, and we just be excited to be in that event. But we got to get a football team ready to play.
Hey, Coach, quarterback Clayton Moore and Jackson State's running game. What have you done specifically to kind of make sure that you can sub Jackson State on the ground, since that seems to be their strength lately?
Well, we go pay attention to some stuff today, but they can run the football, and they're very good at it. They're big up front, got good fullbacks, and quarterback has been making good decisions. So it's going to be tough to stop them on the ground. What you got to do, you got to tackle well, and you got to be in position, and you just got to understand what you're trying to get done, and just understand it's going to be a game that's probably old school football. They're going to get downhill, and your guys got to be up for the challenge.
Coach, do you feel like your team is playing its best football of the year? And if so, do you feel like it's playing at, the highest peak that it can, or do you see room for improvement? And if so, what areas?
Well, yeah, I see a lot of room for improvement. We still don't have that killer instinct. You just got to, we was up 27-3 against Grambling, and, we allowed, 2 touchdowns, and now all of a sudden it's a momentum swing, and, you get a couple turnovers, and you're able to put the game away, but you got to put that game away before you let them back in it. So, we're playing better, but we can still play even a lot better, and I think we will. I think this week of practice will be a lot of focus. I don't like our guys after, a bye week force their focus, because it's hard to get them focused on the next game with so much time off. So I like playing back-to-back games. I think against Grambling, we were able to get some stuff out of our system that we normally don't do. We had some misalignments and stuff that is not normally our football team. So, but I think we'll be much better this week, and I'm excited about getting another week of practice and getting a chance to focus on Jackson State.
Coach, the last time you played Jackson State, obviously lost on a low throw by Dre Joseph. Have you talked to Dre Joseph and also, I guess, Coleman, who was the receiver? How have those two kind of looked back at that matchup, and how are they responding coming into championship weekend?
Oh, man, they're going to be all right. We don't, coming off the field, we were shaking hands and giving congrats to Jackson State for a hard-fought win. And, I told our guys in the locker room, if, that's just one game. So if you take care of business and you get it, you understand, and you take care of business, you get a chance to probably see that team again. And you get that opportunity. Now what you going to do with it? And that's what it's all about. We fortunate to be in this predicament, but our guys fought hard. We lost that football game, but we get a second chance, and then we got to go make the best of it.
Coach, compare and contrast the quarterback matchup on Dre Joseph and Clayton Moore.
I just think right now Dre Joseph is probably playing as good as anybody in the country. He's got some guys around him that, he can throw it. Dre is probably a better passer. Moore is probably dual threat, Is he as good a passer as Dre Joseph? He can be when you watch film. He throws the football very well. He's a very good runner. I think he's a better runner than Joseph, so it makes him a dual threat. So we have our hands full because they multiple offense. Of course, they can run the ball, get in 2 backs, but they also can go empty and throw it. So we have our hands full. We got to make sure we can get lined up and execute and make some plays.
Coach, is the secret out on Randall Menard? The last few games have been relatively quiet. What are teams doing to him, and what does he need to adjust?
I don't think they're doing anything. I just think that, we got so many receivers. You got to understand, now the last 2 games, one was against Clark Atlanta, where we ran the ball the whole second half. And then against Grambling, you had Lee Dawes. So, they have to pick their poison at what they want to do and how they want to do it. So if they give us the matchups, it's all about matchups. I think we can decide, who we want to throw the ball to based on matchups. And if we get one-on-one matchups, then I think we got 4 or 5 even 6 or 7 receivers that can make a play. So it's not necessarily going to be one guy all the time.
Do we have any more questions for Southern University head coach Dawson Odums?
Hey, Coach. Last time when you guys played Zach Pendleton for Jackson State, it seems to have really stepped up in towards the middle end of the season. How do you plan on trying to cover him and kind of take that weapon away for Jackson State?
I mean, we just got to get lined up and execute. I mean, I think our guys understand the good thing about, playing a team twice. It ain't no secret. You know who the players are because you got all the film to look at, and you know who their playmakers are. It comes down to basically just making plays, man. Are your guys better than theirs? Who gonna step up and make a play when your team needs them to make it the most? And that's what it's all about. And you got to believe there's some exciting players on both sides of the ball, and that whoever makes those plays are probably gonna have the upper hand in this game.
Coach, do you foresee Virgil following Pendleton around at all, or will you just wherever he lines up, he lines up?
No, I just, he's going to line up and we go play. I just think we have several good corners that I think will have to accept the challenge. And, if it comes down to it, we'll have to if we have to make some adjustments, then that may be something we may end up doing. But, we're going to just line up and we're going to try to make sure we do that. That's first and foremost, and let our guys go play football.
Any more questions for Dawson Odums? All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and we will look forward to seeing you this Friday for our 10 a.m. official football championship press conference at Reliant.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's Southern head football coach Dawson Odums, and that will conclude our football coaches teleconference. A quick reminder